What's going on? Ryan Troy back with another video for you today. Now, when I first started Vlogmas, I said that I wanted to let you all in on my personal side. So here we are. Now, when I was growing up, I always wanted to help people. I went to college for psychology, and my dream job was to be a counselor for children. I'm a strong believer in therapy and rehabilitation. I feel like our justice system has failed us, being in when people get incarcerated, they usually come out worse than they are than they were when they went in. Even if someone didn't commit a crime and was 100% innocent and unfortunately had to do time, I feel they come out way worse than they were when they went in. But this is besides the point. I just figured I would give you a little backstory on my life. Now, as you read this title, you're probably wondering, how did the color of my skin affect my level of success? Now, the short answer will be it didn't. It didn't affect my level of success at all, but that wouldn't be fun now, would it? So let's dive deep into the long answer. Now, growing up black, I was born in the 80s, all right? So the world was kind of different back then. We didn't have our first black president, and all the adults was born before that, and they lived differently. They experienced a lot of different things, which comes to my point about rehabilitation and therapy. So it was very easy to understand why their vision on our country, on the world, was so different than, because they experienced so many different things than we did. And if it's one thing that they did a lot and it rubbed off on children, was saying things that because we're black, we wouldn't be able to do this. So it became, the number one excuse if you was growing up black. And unfortunately, right now, we still actually go through this a lot, even though we've seen, our first black president. And, it's just, the world is so much different than it was, before Martin Luther King gave his speech. But to piggyback off of what I was saying earlier, it's, rubbing off on the children to, make them feel as if it's nothing that we can do. We're black. It's like we're cursed, basically. If we wanted to do anything, we have to work like 4 or 5 times harder than a white person to be able to achieve what they did, which personally I feel is a lie, but we'll touch on that a little bit later. But, growing up, I actually started to believe that. I started to, blame everything on the color of my skin. And at some point you just eventually realize you're not putting in that work. And it's like, instead of just owning up to that, I would just blame that. So if it's something that I knew I was, even doing wrong, I felt like, all right, well, it's because I'm black, which is why you think that. Whether I was doing wrong or not, I felt I had to put that excuse on something else. And eventually I just started to, not want to be like that. If you told me that I couldn't do something, because I was black, I was going to go out there and try my hardest to do it. So they told me that I wouldn't graduate high school. I ended up graduating when I was 16 years old, went to college right after that, while the rest of my class was, still in high school. Now, this isn't your perfect story, because I had my troubles as well. While I was in college, I ended up getting arrested for counterfeiting, which, was a felony, and I had to be locked up for a year. Now, while I was locked up, there was this correctional officer. His name was Officer Holmes. I'll never forget him. He was a great guy, one of the best COs in there. Now, you may not think that after what I'm about to tell you, but he told me that he would see me again, basically, that I would be arrested again and he would see me again. Now, the reason why I say that he's still a good guy, it's because he said that based off of statistics. Statistically, if you went through the system, you kept going through the system. It's a real small percentage of the people that actually never got arrested again. And I made sure to prove it. Even to this day, I'm still proving it, because I've never been arrested again. So I'm still proving that. And at this point, like the way my life is now, I'm a father. I have 3 children, 3 boys, and jail or anything like that is just nowhere close to, anything I'm thinking of. But it just was that it was him telling me that made me push. It was just like when they said, all right, you're black, you can't do this. Oh yeah, I'm black, I can't do this? Okay, watch me. So it was like, I'm gonna get arrested again? Okay, well, Watch me. So I went ahead on, I moved to New York, and I remember trying to get a good job, and it was extremely hard, being that my felony was fresh and everything like that. It was extremely hard for me to get a job. And I went into this, depressive state of, it has to be because I'm black. Has to be because I have a felony, which the felony did have a lot to do with it. But I started being extremely hard on myself. I didn't go back to school. I didn't go back to college because I felt that what school would hire somebody that was a felon. So I started beating myself up real bad. I just felt defeated, like it was nothing that I was able to do. But I ended up learning low voltage, and see, this is where my life changed a whole lot. And the reason is because when I got that job, I realized that I became a necessity to that company, and it's because I really loved doing the work, and I was really good at it. I was able to speak to the clients, in good ways. I ended up being a lead tech, and under 6 months of me working for the company, I was a lead tech. So what it showed me was the color of my skin didn't matter, and my criminal charges didn't matter at all. The only thing that mattered was my work ethic, how hard I worked, and everything. When I was with them, I worked in places like NBA. I worked in their corporate office in New York City, Snapchat, Facebook, National Geographic. I even worked at the World Trade Center for National Technology Group. This was real big for me. I ended up moving to Houston, and there I had to work in all the schools in Houston. So they did like this intensive background check, which I came back and everything was good. And it's because they saw I'm not going to say that. I was about to say it came back good because they saw my resume, but they really did want me to work at that company because they saw my resume. I got paid more than everybody. It wasn't everybody. I got paid more than, I would say, 75% of the people that worked at that company soon as I came on board. And it let me know that this whole you're black, you can't do this, it's BS. It's total BS. So if you're looking at this thumbnail, I left this blank, and it's a reason why I left it blank. So it says, being blank made me successful. Now, the reason why I left this blank is because that blank is for you to fill in, okay? I want to know, why do you feel, you are successful? Like, maybe you are a woman and somebody told you that being a woman, you couldn't be in this field. You couldn't do this. And you said, okay, well, let me show you. And you went out there and you worked and you proved that you could. Or maybe you're not from this country. Let's say you're from a different country. You didn't know English, but you came over here because you wanted a better life and you worked hard. But you didn't work hard to prove it to nobody. You worked hard to do this for yourself. And don't get me wrong, me, from where I'm coming from, is like I'm saying, I did this, I guess you could say, because I wanted to prove to people that you could. But that's because I wanted to be like somebody that you could point to and say, hey, if he did this, I could do it. He's black, I'm black, I can do this. But it's a lot of things that we still should do for ourselves, not to prove to nobody, because what happens if you have no one to prove things to? If you have no one to prove things to, then you're not going to work that hard. Okay. Now, I want to let you know this as well. When it comes to success, it's one of two ways to achieve it, right? It's like an either or, right? One, you either work extremely hard, okay? You work extremely hard and you get exactly what it is that you want. Or two, you have some type of generational wealth. Now, just because you have wealth, it may make you rich, it may make you wealthy, but it's not going to make you successful. In order to be successful, even if you are from a wealthy family, even if you are rich, you still have to work hard. There's things that you still have to do to be able to keep that up. Now, one thing that I like to think about a lot, let's say this person is rich or whatever, right? And they were to pass away today, all right? What would you think about when it came to them? That's something that I think about a lot, because when I pass away, I want it to be something spoke about me like he went out of his way to help people, because that's what I try my hardest to do. I'm a Laker fan, so I'm a strong Kobe fan. And it's one thing that Kobe said before he passed away, and he passed away extremely early, rest in peace to Kobe. But if it's one thing he said is, if I'm only remembered by what I do on the court, then I have failed. And I agree with that 100%. Him, Steve Jobs, there's so many different role models that I had to push me the hard way, that I push myself. And the thing about Kobe is Kobe, on the court, he worked hard, and off the court, he worked hard. He knew different languages. This man was the epitome of just 100% grind. That's all he did, was just work hard, work hard. And seeing people like that, seeing, I'd even say a black person like that, motivated me, because that was the black person that I got to look at and say, hey, if Kobe Bryant can do this, then I could do this as well. We have to get that mentality of skin color and, all this stuff out of our head. This is a psychological problem that we have, where we feel we cannot do things because of the color of our skin. When I started my photography channel, I was told that having a photography channel and being black, it would be extremely hard and it wouldn't be successful, because there's not that many black successful photography channels. And I never go into making a video and putting a video out where I feel like the color of my skin is gonna, choose on if this video does good or not. We have something else that we're fighting with called the YouTube algorithm, and it's not nice. But the algorithm doesn't say, hey, he's black, let's not push his video. It's a constant fight. But at the end of the day, I want to leave you guys with this. Okay, I want you to go out there, I want you to work extremely hard. Do not give in to this black stuff. Don't give in to any of that. You get to control your own narrative. The only person that can stop you from being successful is you. I want you to look in the mirror, and I want you to realize that you are the only person that can stop you from being successful. So I want you to go out there. I want you to go ahead on and try your hardest. Go out there and work extremely hard. Right now, I am a business owner of my own photography company. I have multiple other side hustles that are 1000% legal. And if I can do this being black, and I can do this with felonies, or felony, you can do this as well. Whether you're black, whether you're white, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is how much do you want it, and how hard are you willing to work to get it. Okay? So until the next video, guys, I will see you later. Peace.